Hi, welcome to today's lesson. Today I'll be talking about Python variables and data types. So we want to quickly launch our um, IDE, Integrated Development Learning Environment. I've said that before, that IDLE stands for Integrated Development Learning Environment. So that's the environment where you write your Python code. So this is the Python shell I said in my previous class, where you can just write a simple line of code and say print whatever. You could print, okay, let's say print my name Dan, and once you press the enter button, it prints Dan. So this is used to just test your code. You can execute code immediately. But there are times when you want to write some lines of code, say 20 lines of code, 30 lines of code for a particular program, and you want to run them together. So what you do then is to create a Python file. So I quickly want to show you how to create a Python file. When you want to create a Python file, you just come up here, you click on file, come to new file, and you've created a file. But now the file is not named, it's called untitled. You want to give it a name, so you have to save it. Go to save as. I already have a folder in my desktop. I named it Python files. So you click on, you can also do the same at your own end, and you give it a name. Okay, I have a name already, variable, but okay, let me give this file creation. File creation. So that's the name of the file creation. Whenever you give a name to a Python file, you must add .py. Now this .py extension tells your machine, okay, this file that is named file creation is a Python file. I think that's easy to understand. .py for Python, and so you save it. Immediately your file name changes to what we've given it, file creation.py, and now you can write your lines of code. You can write several lines of code, and even if you press enter, it doesn't run everything at a go. So that's just it. Let me quickly write some lines of code so that I quickly explain to you how Python executes the lines of code. So for example, if I have print my name is Daniel. Okay, let's print another thing again. Print I am 10 years old. Really? Okay, then print again. Print I just got into college. Amazing. So now I have three things I want to print out. So I've sent the Python command. It's called a method in Python, but let me, for now, to be very simple, to make things very simple, you say this a print command telling us, okay, print my name is Daniel as an output. After that, print my name, I am 10 years old as an output. Then after that, print I just got into college. So once I run this code now, you save it, it tells you to save, you save. See, it prints my name is Daniel, I am 10 years old, I just got into college. Now look at this again. I gave this command, I told Python to print this, and print this, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. So how does it run the code? In Python, there's something we call a Python interpreter. Unlike other languages where you may be working with a compiler or maybe an assembler, in Python we work with interpreters, and you know how interpretation works, or how interpreters work. When the speaker says a sentence, the interpreter interprets the sentence before the speaker says the next one. So that's how interpretation works. Normally, when you have to interpret from one language to another, you don't wait for the speaker to say everything he wants to say before you interpret. You interpret one statement um, first before the other one, and that's what Python does. So when you write a long a list of codes or lines of codes, it interprets it line by line. So the first thing it does is it sees, oh, print my name is Daniel. It interprets that and executes that. It says, oh, Print I am 10 years old, it interprets that, it executes that. Print I just got into college, it interprets that, it executes that. So that's how Python prints its what they call it, lines of codes. So that's very important to know now. Okay, the next thing I'll be talking about now, back to the main subject of the day, variables. I said I'm introducing us to variables and data types in Python programming. What are variables? Variables are just simply containers where data is stored. I'm sure you are used to container for storage. You can have a container where you store water, a container where you store fruits, container where you store some one thing or the other. So a variable is a container where you store something. Let me quickly write a line of code or some lines of code so that I can really explain how this works. Print, for now I've been making use of this command print. I think it's a very easy one to work with. Print my name is Daniel. Okay, you can see this is similar to what I wrote the previous time, but now I want to put my name. Okay, I want to put my name in in a container. So I call the container or the variable name, and I say store Daniel in it. So what this means that I have a variable called name, which is like a container. Its content is Daniel, and so I can print the same statement. This same statement I have here, I can print it the same way. I can say print my name is name. My name is name. Okay, now it prints my name is as a text. Then this name is a variable. What is the content of name? Daniel. So the same thing as my name is Daniel. It will end up printing my name is. What is the content of this variable name? Daniel. And so it prints that. So let me run this now. You see, it tells me my name is Daniel. That's this first one here. My name is Daniel. While the other one, my name is Daniel is this other one. My name is Daniel. So if I decide to change the content of the container to say faith, so you see it's going to change what was printed. So you save it, yes. So it prints my name is Daniel, and now the content in variable name has been changed to faith. So it's going to have faith now at the output. So the first one is we told it to print my name is Daniel. Then the second time we told it to print my name is the content of variable name, which is faith, and it prints faith. So this content, this variable name, or this variable called name, stores the last content you put in it. If I remove this faith now and change it to Joe, it saves Joe in the variable. So this is just what we mean by variable, a container where you store a particular data. It's not every other time. It's not every time it can be. Okay, let me change this. It's not every time it can be name. Let me use age. Let's say my age is 10, and I put here print age. So if I'm to run this program now, you are going to see it's going to first of all print my name is Daniel. This first one we told you to print, it prints it my name is Daniel. Then it prints my name is name. What is in name? Faith. It prints name. Then lastly, we declared age to be equal to 10, and we told it to print the age. So what is the content of the age we told it to print? That's 10. See, it printed. Oh, let me make this. It printed 10 as my age. So you can see how it works. You can store a data or a content inside a variable. The variable possesses that content. You can change it at any point in time, but instead of always changing my age is 10, if I'm to use my age in 20 places or 100 places in the code, all I need to just keep doing is just to declare it once as 10, then every other place I just keep putting age, and it just takes the number 10. So that's the way to work with variables. But now there are some rules that guide us in declaring a variable. When you want to initialize a variable, you want to declare a variable, there are some rules that guide us. Number one, a variable must never start with a number. So you can start with a letter, for example, age, or let me this is first position. First position. So if I say first position is Dan, yeah, first position is Dan. You can see that I started with a number, a letter F. You can also start with an underscore, or you can use an underscore to begin. Also, you can do this first position. It doesn't affect anything. You can use an underscore to start. You can use a letter, but you can never use a number. So if I decide to change this first position, okay, let me use an underscore, first position. Now you will notice that this first started with a number 1, so you cannot use a number. If I'm to run this program now, it's going to throw up an error. Let me try run it. Okay, save this. We should save. Even though say invalid syntax, and you can see this red colored. This red color here tells you that this is an error, and it puts the error on this number 1, telling us that this is not accepted in Python programming. You don't just start a variable name with a number. It's permitted. You see, it ran the first line of code, it interpreted it, and it saw no problem. It was when it went to the second one, it saw the problem, and that's when it indicated us that there's an error there. So that's rule number 1. You never start a Python program, Python variable name with a number. Number 2, you are not permitted to leave space in between. For example, I wrote first position before, first position. This is wrong. Python doesn't see this as a variable. If I say first position is equal to Dan again, Python doesn't see this as a variable because of this space that is here. You don't keep space. So when you have two words you want to join together in declaring a variable, you can put an underscore. So this is first position. Another way to do this is what I love doing most times, is to do this first position. So the first, I'm sure this is readable as first position. The first word is written in lowercase, while the first letter of the second word is in uppercase. I think that's called camel case. I'm not too sure, but you can do that out. This is another way of writing, but the major point I'm trying to bring out is that you don't put space when you want to combine several words to form a variable name. No, you don't do that. Now, another thing you need to do is avoid reserved keywords. Python has some reserved keywords you need to avoid. For example, if is a reserved keyword, and that's why you can see that it became orange when we typed it, because it recognizes it as a Python reserved word. Another one is while. If you use while is a reserved Python word. Break is a reserved Python word. For, you can see as I'm typing them, it's showing us the, what they call it, it's turning to orange color, telling us that you can't use that. So if you use something like name is not a reserved Python word. There are just few. Maybe you need to check off the internet for Python reserved word, but the good thing is anytime you mistakenly use them, it's going to come up in orange if you are using this version of Python. Fine, it comes out in the orange, but this name black, it tells us this is acceptable. So never use a Python reserved word. One other thing I need to talk about again, I think that should be the rule number 4. Make your name descriptive and short. For example, if I have name is equal to David. Now this variable name, this variable name is descriptive. It tells us, okay, we're talking about name. It makes sense. Name. Just imagine I wrote something like this: N is equal to David. Now, this could be confusing. Tomorrow I may want to come to this code. I'm like, what is n? What is n? What is n? N. This though it's short, but it's not descriptive. It doesn't tell us, give us much information of the content in the variable. So you always use a name that is descriptive. For example, if I say first, first, first name, then this is not too long. This is okay. First name. This is descriptive. It's very simple. Anytime I say, oh, my first name is Dan, it makes sense. I know that the content in this is always the first name of the individual. But this is, but if I decide to do so, well, I don't think anybody will do this. But first name, sorry, name that my my oh sorry what is happening? Oh, why is my caps lock not working? Hey, my mother give. This is not reasonable at all. So if you call this, if you declare this as a variable name, this is too long. It's not, yeah, it may be descriptive, first name that my mother gave me, yeah, but this is just too long. And so it's a good rule to always use something short and descriptive, so that in future when you come to work on that same code, just from the name you already understand, oh, this is the content and this is all that is in this. So that makes life easy. So quickly I want to go to the other part of the lecture, which is data types. Data types. We have several kinds of data we work with on a daily basis. For example, if you work with an mp3 file, you know an mp3 file is an audio file. So the data.mp3 is that type of data is an audio data. If you work with mp4 is a videoed file, so you know that's a video data. So the every kind of file has when you want to work with, how do I put it now, there are different kinds of data we work with when we work with Python, or we work with on a daily basis. So there are some data types that are familiar to the Python language, and that's what I want to introduce us to. Number one is called string. When I talk of string is just talking about bringing several letters or characters together to form a word or a sentence. For example, what I've been writing all the while, my name is Daniel. Daniel is a string. So if I put my message, let's say I call this variable message is equal to, the message I have is to my name is Daniel. That's my message. This my name is Daniel is a string because I'm forming a sentence. I'm putting several words together. So it's a string of characters. M here is a character. Y is a character. This space is a character in computer programming. N is a character. A is a character. M is a character. E is a character, and so on and so forth. So these are all characters. When I put them together to form a word or to form a sentence, it has a string of characters, so we call it string. So these are data. That's a data type. It's called string. Anytime you are working with string, you must put them in quotes, single or double quotes. Python accepts both single quotes or double quotes, but I think it's just a normal practice in Python programming to use single quotes. So you use single quotes for data, for string rather. So when you work with string, you use single quotes. Another thing you need to know about the string data type is that, okay, there are some reserved, or there are some Python methods. We call them methods in Python. In some other languages, they are called functions. But in simple terms, there are some commands that you can use to play around strings. For example, if I put this name is equal to Daniel. Now, because the content is a string, that means that this variable is a string variable. That makes sense. So the content is a string, double quotes with string of characters, So this content, this variable here is a string variable. The first method I'll be talking about is title. So if I want to change, you can say I wrote my name Daniel in lowercase. Normally when you want to write the name of an individual, your first letter should be in uppercase, capital letters. So if I want to convert that just by sending a code, I just put name dot. Okay, first of all, let me print name, so that I print it as it is. Then I quickly convert to name dot title. Then I say print. Okay, print name dot title. Print name dot title. Now this name dot title, what it does is to convert the first letter of every word to um to an uppercase. So if I put my name, okay, let me put this Oluwole, this is my surname. So you can see it's going to print Daniel Oluwole as it is. Then the second printing will now be converting the first letters to uppercase. So let me run this. Run. You can see when I printed it, the first one printed as it was Daniel Oluwole normally. Okay, is there a way I can bring this down? Oh, okay, Daniel Oluwole, but the second printing printed the first letters in uppercase. So that's how this method called title, that's the function. It helps to convert the first letters of every word to uppercase. Another one again is dot upper. Let me use name dot upper. Now this method called dot upper, or this is used with strings. So anytime you use this, it converts all the letters to uppercase. So it converts everything to uppercase. If I'm to run this, so it's saying name dot upper. That means all the letters of variable name, convert them to uppercase. That's just how to write the code. That's just the meaning of that code I just wrote there. So you run this. This is, you can see it printed Daniel, then it printed it in uppercase. Daniel Oluwole in uppercase. I don't know. Do I know how to clear this up? I don't really know how to clear this. Is there a way to clear this? Oh, I don't know how to clear this, but we'll keep continuing the way we've been doing all the while. So it printed the name Daniel Oluwole in lowercase, and it printed in upper. So once you have upper, you can also have lower. So if I add this in uppercase, for example, this is Daniel. So name is Daniel. I print this. I print the. Okay, let me just print it in lowercase. So name, print it in lowercase. That's name dot lower. It prints it as just lowercase Daniel. So those are some methods or some commands that are reserved in your Python language that helps you to work with strings. As we progress in this lecture, you work with strings more and more, and I will expose us to some others. Then another type of data we have, or another data type we have, is they are called integers. So from basic mathematics, we know integers are just non-decimal numbers, whether positive or negative. They are non-decimal numbers. So your 0 is an integer, 1 is an integer, 2 is an integer in mathematics, 3 is an integer, 4 is an integer, to a million, to minus a million, or whatever. So if I can have this just a variable name to be age is equal to 15, for example. This 15 here is an integer. It's a non-decimal number. So if I want to work with this, for example, this age, I can put print. If I want to print, just see what I want to do now. Print. Of course, your print command must always be in lowercase. Now, I want to print a string, just a statement, or should I say sentence. In 10 years, I would be, comma, let me call this new age. So let me quickly declare the variable new age. New age is equal to age plus, sorry, this should be in capital letters. So since I use capital letters here, I will use capital letters here too. Plus 10. So in 10 years, I'll be new age. Whenever you want to write a string of characters, it must be in quotes. Don't forget new years old. Open and close quote. So if I have a variable called age is 15. New age, my new age should be this age plus 10. So it should print in 10 years I would be new age. What is new age? New age is 15 plus 10, that's 25 years old. So let me run that to see what it's going to give me. So in 10 years I would be 25 years old. So you see how Python did the mathematics for us. Now when you're working with numbers, of course, you use numbers to do little arithmetic, little computations. So let's come to our shell here. Pardon me, I don't really know for now. Maybe in the next lecture I would have found out the way to do this. I don't know how to clear this. Is there anything like clear? Let me try clear. Is there anything like that? No, there's nothing like clear. So I don't know how to clear. Maybe you just help me in the comment section below. Tell me how to clear this. But just this is where I am. Just take note of this point where I am. If with integers you can perform mathematics operations. So I'm back to the idle shell. If I did this in the first lecture 7. I do this x is equal to 5, y is equal to 6, z is equal to, sorry, I just say z is equal to x plus y. So if I say print z, once I press, you can see it's printed x plus y. Z is x plus y, and that's 5.6. That's 11. So those are ways to work with integers. You can perform all kinds of computation. You can do subtraction, you can do division. Let's quickly do multiplication. Let's change the value of z to be equal to x multiply. When you want to use multiply in Python program, you use asterisk and you print z. So printing z, you get 30. That's 6 times 5. Remember, x was 5, y was 6. Then we say z is now x times 5. Print z, that's 30. You can do division. Division is possible. For example, if I say x is equal to 10 and I say y is equal to 2 and I say z is equal to x divided, this use a slash for divided by y, and I print z. So if I print z, you get 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So with integers you can perform so many mathematical operations. Let me just do some other. There's something we call modulo operation. For example, if I say 10 x, okay, z should be equal to x modulo is percentage sign modulo y. I will explain what this means. Print z. Now modulo means print the remainder. So when we do after the division, print remainder after division. So we have x divided by y, that's 10 divided by 2, that's 5 remainder 0. So it's going to print the remainder. Instead of printing 5, it's going to print remainder. Now our remainder was 0. So that's the main function of modulo. So you can see with integers you can perform all kinds of mathematics. You can do raised to power of 2. So let's say z raised to power of 2, print z raised to power of 2. Raised to power means multiplied 2 multiplication signs, that's asterisk 2. So that's z raised to power of 2. What was our z before? 0. Oh no, let me not use z here. Let me use x. X is 10. Our last x declaration was 10. So x raised power of 2, and that's 100. That's square of 10, 100. So you can see with integers you can do all manner of mathematical operations, and so that's just all about the integer. Now the last data type I'll be talking about is called float. Float is just like the integer, but the difference is that it's a decimal number. So you know integers are numbers, floats too are numbers, but floats are decimal numbers. So when you want to when you have decimal number, for example at this point where we had an answer to be 5.0, this tells us that our z is a float variable. This variable z is a float variable because it gave us a decimal number. So you can have, if you are working with decimal, s is equal to 7.3. It tells us that this variable x is a float variable. If you say y is equal to 10, it tells us that y is an integer. And if you say z is equal to x plus y, and you print your z, printing your z, you are going to get 17.3. So that tells us that x is a float kind of variable. It's a variable of data type float. Y is a variable of data type int or integer. While the z giving us 17.3 is a variable of data type float. So those are the data types. So whenever you see any value or any word, you know that okay, this is a string, this is an integer, this is a float. As time goes on, you will see the implication of this, the reason why we are working with this. So quickly before we okay, I think I've spent a long time on this video now. I may end up dividing this video into 2 parts so that it's not too long. Well, let me see. Before we quickly end this video, let me quickly give us a very short class work to play around integers and strings. So I quickly create a new file. I call the file area of a rectangle, area of a rectangle. Of course, don't forget to put your .py, and that gives us this area of rectangle.py. Okay, so now this area of rectangle.py, the area of rectangle is simply length times breadth. So I can have a variable, call it length is equal to 7, and call the other one breadth is equal to 5. So the area will be equal to length times breadth. So I print. Now I'm going to print a string which is in quotes. Of course, anything in quotes, strings are usually put in quotes. The area of the rectangle is, so I end the quotes there. That's a string. Of course, you know that's a string. Comma is just to give another is area. Then put another string here, square meters. So that's the unit of area. So we know that the length is 7, breadth is 5. Area is equal to length times breadth. So we print the area of the rectangle is whatever length times breadth gives us, squared meters. So you run this code and it tells you the area of the rectangle is 35 square meters. That's 7 times 5 is 35. So you can see how Python works generally. In this video I've explained to you what variables are. I've explained to us what the various kinds of data types are, and we've played around almost everything. So by now I expect you to understand how this works. So if this video was useful to you, kindly hit the subscribe button, press the bell notification to be notified anytime a new video is dropped. You can share this with your friend, you can like the video, and I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.